Dost lie thy so low? Are all that conquest, trophies, spoils, shrunk to this little measure? Fare thee well. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do live after them, the good is oft interred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus have told you that Caesar was ambitious. If it was so, it was a grievous fault, and grievously Caesar hath answered it. Come I to speak in Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and just to me. And Brutus says Caesar was ambitious. Beautiful people, the ring announcer, Your Serenity, protocol announcer, Mr. Mahulwana, branch chairperson, Mr. Koto, and SATU members, principal of Zibuko or Mighty Zibuko, Mr. Nkwinika and your team, former educator attached to this beautiful and lovely school, Mr. Mhlongo, educators, the Nkwinika family, ANC representative, Mr. Malaji, and also Mr. Mboweni. Good afternoon. As a guest host and all of me, my honor is always rooted in dishonor, and faith unfaithful has always kept me falsely true. We are convened here today at Zibuko to say a final farewell to a dear brother of his own siblings, a father of his own children, an educator of his own learners, and a colleague who has taken his transition to eternity a mere 5 days ago. I know Mr. Nkwinika. Mr. Nkwinika could dress like a scientist. He could talk and walk like a scientist. He could eat like a scientist. And he could love and hate. I'm not sure whether he could hate, I cannot attest. But the opposite of love is hate. He was a human being. The son of Sir Isaac Newton is no more, who understood the laws of motion and gravity better than the majority of us seated here. He could tell and narrate that Newton's first law says, a body will continue to move in its straight line unless acted upon by an unbalanced external force, without referring to any book. He could also sometimes demonstrate by taking a piece of chalk or a tennis ball, throwing it, and immediately it hits the wall. He will say to the learners, this is the external force I was talking about. Mr. Nkwinika knew and know Newton's second law of motion that says acceleration is directly proportional to force and inversely proportional to mass. He could sometimes take learners out of the class, demonstrating it outside the class in his own vehicle. He could put the learners' books and would start pushing the car alone. And as the books continue to be in the buggy or in the vehicle, he will say to learners, please assist me. And when they start assisting him to push the car, he will say, when you increase the workload or the load in the buggy, the force should also be increased. That is Newton's second law. He could also tell them Newton's third law of motion that says acceleration or action and reaction are numerically equal, but acting in opposite direction. He could also demonstrate pushing the wall, and the learner will start laughing and will say, do you know why the wall is not moving? They will say, no. He said, W equals to Fs. Action and reaction are numerically equal. Simply means the wall is also pushing against me, but it cannot move because the forces are equal. Mr. Nkwinika knew the laws of indices. He knew it very well. That when multiplying powers of the same base, we add the exponents. Dividing powers of the same base, we subtract the exponents. Mr. Nkwinika could also attest and tell learners that any number multiplied by 1 is that number. Any number multiplied by 0 is 0. Any number divided by 1 is that number. And any number to the power 0 is 1. He could attest, I know. Mr. Nkwinika could also tell square roots of any number from 4, because 1 and 2 don't have square roots. From 4 to infinity, you could tell without using a calculator. You could tell learners that the square root of 9 is 3. The square root of 25 is 5. The square root of 36 is 6. The square root of 81 is 9. The square root of 100 is 10. The square root of 11 is 121. The square root of 12 is 144 without using the calculator. Mr. Nkwinika was a moving scientist or a mobile scientist. A renowned thought leader, Dr. Lerroy, when he delivered his 10th Eskiam Pahlele Memorial Lecture on the 27th of September 2019, opined. Few years ago, a thought leader, a scholar, an author, and a lecturer, Prof. Eskiam Pahlele, before he made his transition to eternity, he had a brief but philosophical opportune conversation with Prof. Mushenkondo, a close educational friend of long standing, with a laser-like gaze at Mushe as Kia posed this profound question. What was it all about? And then lapsed into a coma, which was to be his final resting place. Nobody will dare respond to me in this festive tranquility and melancholy, pensive sadness when I pose the same question in present tense. What is it all about? Nobody could respond. It's a philosophical question. To you, Mr. Nkwinika, the principal of this school, as an army commander, one of your trusted army general has thrown his S-400, which is the most powerful missile ever produced by humanity, which can see, detect, and approach and kill an enemy at a distance of more than 600 kilometers. He has dropped his pen. The glass beaker of thermometer has broken to pieces. Eka ndyangu wa Nkwinika namuntlha vana va mhani mina ni ri khopa hi bamzabi manga dya xinamu le hanti n'weti wu pele wa ha ku ba mahlahle kuzi ya timamba yi bongele ra makumu vhiki leri nga hela mi nga vileli ni ta mi hlanganya hi khoma vahlambini i ngoma yo pfumala murhuli hambi yi tlhave hi mani ngoma leyi hambi i mani a nge te manuge a ku tsiyo ivi va ku a hi ye mariveni hi ya rhwala ngoma namuntlha hi cina manthagela masin'wini namuntlha hi hakalunya hi tinsasankambani dyambu xilohosi eka ndyangu nakambe gumba a xi na nyama ho twa ku fela nchangani ku vula ngoma a Jarimani ku ya lavo tiya Jonny xilungwini mhani a hi nga lahlani malayenini a hanti kanyi wa ha xawa u ta vona hi vahanyi hina hi nkarhi wa mudyaxihi dyisi wa vongwe loso hlawula dzivuko na Nkwinika wonge vo va voxe ni lava ku phinyawuka ni garamuka ni ba ximbirhi nhlokweni ni lava ku ba malu ximbirhi nhlokweni a wu hlweli ku pala mi nga vileli a ni nga ta veka magula ni ta ba na swi tiva leswaku loko no tshuka ni pfumale nsulu ni ta sula inana rin'we ra mufambisi loko virhongo a byi ri na n'wini a hi ta pfuxana wena Nkwinika hina hi ri hambi nkuku wu nga ringeri ta xa loko ri xiswathe i swatheni buti wa mina loko ri xiswathe i swathini mutirhikulori meni ri swathe ivi lavan'wana va ku homu na mbuti vuya i ta tumbela ra vumbirhi vula kwala i nga kona eku a no tlanga a no huwa a ni lava ku vona ku mi ni rhandzisa ku yini famba wena Nkwinika famba Nkanyani tsutsuma Zitha va ku yimerini maxaka ya wena lava nga famba khale famba wena Maluma hi Ncilayi tshika nomu wena mamba ya vukarhi na byata n'wananga tlula xinambyana va ku vitana va ri ti ta vakela mati va ri xaka ra ka n'wina famba hina hi ta sala hi yingayinga na vona famba wena Botsoli na ntanga xikatsa misava jiwana tlhava na hondzosi famba wena Botsoli na makalansele madogombela swi dyiwa hi vahloti na tinkoke nyavulala a vokotsa hi vito lerikulu leri kombaka vukulu bya yena a ku yo xivindzima yo van'wakingiri va ri karhi va tsendzeleka ni mimiti va dlaya tihomu timbuti na marhole a ku khensiwi loyi a tiviwaka kambe a nga voniwanga hi mahlo ya nyama swathe futhi meni khotsini a maho kokwawe